Today, I'm going to be talking about our latest works with DW Spectrum. We have integration with the Bold group. So we've integrated Spectrum with their Manitou product, which is their central station product. Bold has been around for over 40 years. They make several other versions of software in terms of for the financial and business management parts of the operating a central station in a monitoring center. But the main piece in terms of their alarm monitoring is Manitou. So Manitou integrates all the signals, the video signals, alarm signals, all the devices are fed into Manitou, and the operators are interfacing on the Manitou platform to process those alarms and run through the scripts that are given for each location, and who they call and emergency responders and so forth to prioritize resources. With this integration, give you a couple of the highlights. Is at a central station, their big driver is to make everything the same. So bring it into that Manitou interface, a native video interface for a central station operator, that they can view cameras from a DW Spectrum server in the Manitou, and the module within Manitou that handles video is called the Video Control Center module. So that's what integrates the alarm handling and the video in one system, so that they don't have to ever leave that Manitou UI as they're processing those alarms. It is a simplified connection, so the integration is built around the connectivity point being DW Cloud, so that you can establish a connection using DW Cloud. Next thing, DW Cloud is that connectivity point, and then we get the video verification of alarms and virtual guard tours. So this is the service platform that is able to do video verification of alarms, to that when an alarm comes in from an alarm panel or door sensor or whatnot, that you can video verify it with an associated camera, or that you can do video guard tours with a periodic, logging in and reviewing and looking at it with those compatible central stations. So a lot of central stations out there use the Bold as their automation software. For this, as I mentioned, it is a direct connection with DW Cloud. So to access the Spectrum servers and combine that with the Manitou platform, and it is using that that secure outbound connection for that web connected functionality, so that if the customer's network changes, we're not relying on the port forwarding, we're not relying on the internet service provider, we're not relying on any of that. By connecting with the DW Cloud, you get that secured outbound connectivity, so without the need to do any port forwarding. So all the benefits of DW Cloud come into play here. It does transmit both live and recorded video from DW Spectrum into the Manitou platform. So the Manitou the operators that are in Manitou are able to look at both live and recorded video. They're able to control PTZs and things like that. Some of the other things in terms of the transmission of alerts events. So, things like analytic events and analytic object detected and all the stuff in the alarm rules, you can send that information from Spectrum to Manitou. You can also, through the same exact facility, send that information in terms of the recorder health. So things like server failure, server started, and whatnot. You can send that information as well from Spectrum to Manitou. And then conversely, you can send a relay output control from Manitou. So when that operator sees something, if they want to be able to control a device on site, they can, in the Manitou interface, send a command to Spectrum. So we're going to get into each one of those. But just kind of the overall, diagram of this is, again, we're not relying on port forwarding or DDNS or opening any inbound ports or anything like that. We're using that DW Cloud connection for that. So we're not reliant on any of those network changes taking it down. So using DW Cloud, it connects. Manitou operator is able to log in. It doesn't matter if it's a Blackjack AI, a Megapix IVA camera, can all be viewed in the Manitou interface. Things like the SiteWatch perimeter detection products can be interfaced with through the Manitou platform as well. So how this works is basically you've got the Digital Watchdog VCC driver. So that's the name of the driver, is the Digital Watchdog VCC driver from Bold Group. Central station managers have this available to them from Bold, and they can install it and create that connection. And then once they do that, you'll see that they then have this within their interface, they have their little device discovery, which basically is taking the Manitou server and pointing it at the Spectrum server. And when you hit that little light bulb there, enter the information about the Spectrum server being, its cloud connection. You'll connect into the Spectrum server, and all the cameras, all the devices that are in that Spectrum server are able to be populated within the Manitou interface. And at that point, they can associate DW Spectrum managed cameras with alarm points. So whether it's an area or a zone in Manitou, you can enable the operators that seamless user experience by saying, hey, the front door camera is associated with the front door alarm point. The lobby camera is associated with the front door alarm point. So that if anything happens on that front door, the camera is associated with that event for that operator's experience, that they just have to click on the camera icon within Manitou and see it. I mentioned Spectrum can send its events to Manitou. As I mentioned, analytic events, analytic object detected. So, anything that we're detecting with a Blackjack AI or a Megapix IVA or the new Megapix AI, we're able to communicate that through Spectrum, through the standard rules engine. So you would use the standard rules engine inside of Spectrum to send those events, transmit those events. And so the action that they're going to program in Spectrum is the HTTP request as action. And they're going to send that information to the Manitou Media Gateway. You can transfer both the alert events, the alarm events, as well as any of the health events. So server failure, storage issues, server started, device disconnect, those types of things that are in the event rules engine inside of Spectrum can be configured to send a message when detected and when ran to the Manitou Media Gateway using the HTTP request function. And then, as we've mentioned, that operator, once the operator is logged in, you can kind of see an example of the operator's interface, that they're going to see the camera in Manitou, that they do have controls to export images and things like that, but then they do also have output controls, so they can trigger an alarm point. And so what that is doing is basically it's sending a generic event inside of Spectrum. You can have a generic event in Spectrum that triggers that alarm point and do all the things, whether it's tripping an output, initiating a panic record, if that's what you want configured. If you just want the operator to tag the video using bookmark as the action. So any of the actions that you want can be achieved, including an HTTP request. So keep in mind, we have our SiteWatch perimeter detection product. The operator can turn the light on without any need for any kind of high voltage, whatnot, just communicating right through Spectrum to initiate that hybrid to go from IR to white light or go to strobe or whatever it is. And you can add that to the script in Manitou that's what the operator should do when something like that happens. All of that functionality is through the standard functions inside of Spectrum in terms of generic event and HTTP. So on our side, it should be pretty simple and straightforward, that you're using generic event to receive information from Manitou, that you're sending Manitou information using the HTTP request. We've got all of this laid out in our knowledge base, so you want to be sure. There's a couple of articles there. There's one kind of just the highlights, which is more like a marketing piece, but it also references the integration setup. The Bold operator can use Bold technical support or Bold's documentation on this as well at the central station level in terms of installing that driver and the configuration and setup of that. We have added Bold to the technology partner page, contact information, all of the information sheets, the press release, all of that information is on our technology partner page. So you want to log in and check that out.